You are telling us retention, something about spam retention.
We want to clear. We should be clearing on that before we even like. Hatujakuuliza hata umetoka wapi, umezaliwa wapi, blah blah blah. Tunafaa tukuulize some very very crucial questions.
Now, in terms of spam retention, as a man, I just that you have to protect your spam because it just gives some sense of energy. So you have to learn how to practice it, and because I know, and it's not an easy process for maybe some guys will come of age, but it is ideal that you value your spam so much. So whenever you go out with a woman, then you have to use a condom, and if you can't use a condom, then maybe just abstain.
So umetumia condom hapa. Spam si bado utakuwa umemwaga utakuwa.
No, you have to dispose it off. Once you have
and
the
it
condom.
Has to be you.
Yeah, you the condom is yours, the spam is yours. Then you have to dispose it off. You don't let anybody dispose that condom. Just take a tissue and just flush it or just no. You can't flush it. You can't flush it. You can't flush it. Just maybe this. Yeah.
Oh, me, I thought the whole process
you want to spoil drainage. Was say, bro.
No.
Let's not flush mama CD in this.
I thought the whole process is all about ukisikia unaenda kukama, unaenda kumwaga una.
That comes with abstinence also. And
hardest thing in the world.
There's an energy that comes in by you just being so minded in the whole situation. Yeah, dealing with it like. But you have to practice that spam retention. Guard your spam. As a man, you have to guard your spam.
I'll guard my spam well, but about retaining it, I don't know about that shit, man. I don't know about that. Okay, maybe that's a story for another day, man. I'll have to kutafute nyuma tent ndio niambie how to do it.
How to retain your.
So, but born and raised where?
Awendo.
Born and raised.
Yes.
Nowhere else you born and raised.
Yeah.
School, everything.
No, so I was born in this town.
Born in Awendo.
Yeah, born in Awendo town. And primary, the same place. Secondary, I went to Gorosari.
Gorosari.
Yeah. So then university, Egerton, Nakuru, Molo. Yeah.
You did some agriculture there?
No, I did economics and statistics.
Yeah,
mostly. Yeah, Egerton is known for mostly courses on agriculture. Yeah, so when I went there, I only did economics and statistics.
Why economics and statistics? Because
I love mathematics.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nigga, the first person I love mathematics.
Yeah, I think mathematics is the core for it is like the foundation for most subjects. And
you love mathematics, so you meant to say that.
So how is English related to mathematics?
I think English is the core to everything.
No, in terms of the business world and everything that you want to do, then maths come in handy.
How about languages? I want to teach my kids how to speak in Kizungu. Where is maths falling in that?
Why must you teach them how to speak in Kizungu?
Or just Luo, just languages.
Yeah,
language is
that is now where we Africans we are destroying our own heritage. Because there is no need of we should not even be. We should like maybe if you can teach them Kiswahili. Swahili is now is an African language.
Or this podcast will also be in Luo.
No, because of the coverage and because of maybe you come from different communities.
Yes.
And this podcast is not only for Luo. Maybe if you wanted to do Luo, maybe people are going to Ramogi.
Yeah.
But now we are doing it here, so it doesn't best in Luo alone.
Okay, I feel like about the language thing. I feel like we can just you can just know our language. But
it's good for you to express in your mother tongue. I think the best that person should ever do in terms of from raising a kid, they should be able to express themselves in their own language.
Yeah. But it doesn't hurt knowing different languages from different countries or different people. It's just different languages from, especially these international languages.
Yeah.
You
should be good with your mother tongue first.
Yeah, but then you should train your kids to compete for any job anywhere in the world, because if they only know your language, how will they compete?
Not that they know your only language, but your language will be the first language. And they can know that the other like Swahili, Swahili should also be fast because that is an African language. Then Kizungu, that is now a foreign language. That one should be the third one. But you by the fact that maybe you express yourself in Kizungu doesn't make you bigger than a person who can express themselves in mother tongue or Swahili.
So you love mathematics from like way back from your
I
it's always
started,
in maths,
yeah,
maths, primary.
Primary was mathematics, I think.
You must have you must have had a good mathematics teacher, or it was just about the attitude and the love.
No,
How
I
did
think
it become
in
that
terms
you
of
love
in terms of
mathematics?
me, in terms of mathematics, I think I think it flows through the genes because from class 2, from class 3, my mother just basically said that okay, there's one thing that I think we are good at. And
from your mom?
Yeah, from my mom. So
So
we had to do 10 sums per day, 5 sums per day, and I fell in love with the process and the whole thing.
So your mom made you do the whatever, not your teacher, not any, your mom?
No, my mom. From the start that, from doing 5 sums and 10 sums per day from class 3, class 4.
Nice.
And I think I fell in love with the subject, and so far, I think it is one of the things that I performed so well even in KCSE. The best, I think so.
What was your score in KCSE?
In terms of math or in terms
Maths alone?
For me, I did KCSE twice. The first case I did in 2009 was from Grossari. I got a B plane.
In mathematics?
No, the general grade was B plane. Math, I think I got something like, was it B plus? I think so. Then I went back to Rero Boys. I got now A minus. Math, I got A plane.
What happened?
Why did you redo?
You guys got a Y? You got a Y in...
No, I just wanting something bigger for myself, and I think that maybe the grade.
You wanted a name for yourself?
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
You get a B and then you're like, nah, bad.
Yeah, some.
Serious?
Maybe you want more in this life, maybe there's something that maybe just want more. And I think that maybe maybe the grade was not, I don't know, but I think
when I was not enough.
Yeah, when I was doing my first KCC, I had a very, very bad injury. And I think that injury really affected the way
from football or
rugby.
Oh.
Yeah, so I had a very bad injury, I think, and I just thought that maybe this injury maybe affected the way I performed. But then now, let me give it a second shot. And if
yes, I was seeing you in rugby some other time.
If it goes south, then I'll use my first result. But if it goes well, then also I had to be very dedicated in whatever I was doing the second time that I went.
Because that was prompting my next question, which was, you see, I've seen a couple of people who've gone back to repeat in school, and then they do way worse than they did in
and you go like, why the risk? Like
now it depends. It depends on mostly if in terms of the work ethic and you wanting more for yourself does not come from you, then it comes from your parents. Then maybe your parents push you to do it. But if it's like an inward reaction that basically comes from you alone, then I think you are obliged to work so hard. You can't work something you don't want to have a second guess and everything.
So in high school, maybe were you so focused that you never had some social life?
No.
There's always social life.
There's always, you have to create time for social life, and it is good. And I don't think I enjoyed my high school. It was great.
Tell us the enjoyment bit, because we're here for fun.
Maybe before you even tell us the enjoyment part of it. Hii career yako ya rugby ulianza from primary or high school?
No, high school. From 2, I think from 2, yeah.
Of all the sports, you chose rugby.
No, I went to, I don't think I was, I think I was average in football. Just like any normal kid can do. Yeah, your first love has to be football. And then maybe you go to football and then you say, okay, no, maybe I can pick a ball and run with it. So then you go for rugby. And the training.
Rugby quite intense, bro.
Yeah, the endurance and you have to persevere. I think just rugby brought the best out of me. I felt more active. I felt more as a man. This is a game of men. And I think,
you have the energy and all that.
The whole vibe of
it. Like, you have to be fierce and,
So you will come and apply your time.
No. Fulani rugby build kwa anyone man anaicheza by the way. Even
it just builds a lot of endurance. A lot of just having that strength and being, you just feel like the rugby guys, they belong in a community. You're just part of something that is maybe bigger than you. That wanting more for your teammate, wanting more for your brother. Because once you go outside the pitch, you are all of your brothers. And then in terms of the intellect in rugby has to be played with a lot of brains. You have to be very sure whatever you're doing, whatever. So you have to look like you don't be offside. And there's a lot of rugby has a lot of facets that go into it.
So maybe because rugby inapata wase wameunga wase
you don't
talk
have to.
About intellect.
That is just like for example, you don't have to like umeunga which is rugby, no. Mostly as long as you have great skills, handling skills and analytical skills, then you can just play.
Sijaona any skinny rugby player.
No, hata injera there are some even sevens. Yeah.
Skinny, like you know the type of skin I'm talking about, like skinny.
You can.
Yeah, this guy can play as a winger. Yeah, we have someone from there's
hawezi mombe tukuli. Hawezi.
There's a winger. There's a winger you can check online. There's a winger from US called Periveka.
Ananitoshana hivi.
Yeah, almost the same size.
Wow.
Skinny guy and he runs.
Almost like I'm shinda ama.
Ako hivi.
Almost ako tu hivi.
Amini bana, we nayo.
Though I've not met him face to face, but just from the screen.
From the videos, the screen. But then mjia kuna, you know.
Yeah, unaweza sijua. Unaweza sema hivi.
Gorilla screen and yes.
Nataki kuamini na anacheza rugby.
No, you can play. You can play as a winger, you can play as a center. You can play. As long as you can tackle him, yeah, it'll be good.
So you mean to me mtu kawe anaweza kutackle?
I can.
No, I know it's about the minds, you know, the skills and everything, yeah, but same skill. You average in everything, he's average in everything.
He can tackle.
And is
tackle too.
I thought rugby is all about the energy. It's bombarding each other in like.
There's some small. There are some. Let me not say small players, but there are just some players that they are not quite big, but they're playing. We have some small guys. There's a winger.
The people are like
there's a winger.
They're short, but
no, there's a winger right now from like even the Barrett brothers from New Zealand. Yeah, there's Afelele Farsi from South Africa. He's not that huge. He's a winger. Afelele Farsi.
He's huge, but not that much.
Huge, yeah.
You know.
But then I'm also huge, but not that huge.
Tuachane na historia ya rugby. Tutaongelea sana, but we all know.
But yeah, I can. Yes, I can. So maybe what I really wanted to know, did you feel like you own the entire universe because you have the intellect, you have the energy? Did you feel like mtu angecheza hapo from one manze?
Yeah, because I feel like rugby ukupea that mindset that now you're against, like, you know, you just said that it builds some kind of you have to face now life in a different way, in a different perspective, because now it's, you know, it builds the vigorousness and the fierceness and the you have to endure some hardships to play rugby, even in the training and everything. Was it too soft anymore?
This is what happens, that from the moment that maybe you're born and then your parents wamekuold to strict fanya hivi, you be a small boy, you go out, come back, eat, just do the normal. Then now you go to maybe secondary, now you start expressing yourself. Say, okay, maybe there's another part of me that can do this. Maybe there's another part of me. Because you know, parents, ukiangua kidogo, my son, kuja kidogo. But then now, once umpata, we amka. Then say, okay, now let me express myself fully.
Kuna watu rugby kwao. Maybe ulipata rugby kwa high school.
No, it depends on the parenting. But because I think my parents were just more cautious about the way I move and the way we talk, and that is a normal parent, like me right now. It's like kimbia tagongwa student. There's a name there's a name they call for it. It is called lawnmower parenting.
Lawnmower.
Yeah, lawnmower. They create your space and with the bed.
Oh, baba.
Yeah, baba. It is called lawnmower parenting.
I won't do that to my kids. I won't do that to my kids.
Wewe utafanya gani ya kufieka ufiake mmoja?
I do more of no inaitwaga aje, there's this hii yenye like I just want my kid kuwa ule mtu active na tough. So I don't want to like
but hata wewe maybe uko active na tough, maybe uko.
So yeah, but I can develop those skills by
you can demand from your kid na wewe uko hivyo.
Buda mimi niko hivyo bana. Mimi si demand.
Wewe si outgoing. Unajua unapata kama wewe si outgoing au wendi. Unajua kuna mwingine maybe you walk around with a short, you do some physical activities unafanya. Then unajua the kids are monkey si monkey too. You want to expect your kid to be outgoing and wewe outgoing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so
no nitakuwa marking scheme, nitakuwa tu marking scheme yao, unaona. I not expect my kid to do something that I'm not doing. You know, I not stampare some limitations clear, but I won't expect much.
Okay.
More than what I'm doing. So you start your career yako career yako. The whole rugby thing ulianza because rugby is not your career, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Did you ever see yourself doing rugby for like a career?
No,
just always for fun.
The oomph, there's something called oomph that you get from the feeling of sense of belonging and sense of being active that I got from rugby. And then at some point that maybe but after Form 4, I said, okay, it was just a part of a fling. I guess I still feel excited to do it, like maybe I can do it, but that is not a long-term goal that maybe I'm having. That's
you just once in a while you can catch up with your rugby friends.
But I just felt like maybe rugby just developed that side of now being now I am more into now physical fitness. Yeah, so that part I was not part into like now we'll be working out. And now we can work out now.
You're working out in a discipline and then it's like a lifeline.
It just like rugby opened that other avenue. That maybe you can also now in terms of being like after you have worked on your own mental health, now you can work on your physical health. Yeah, so.
Is it like something that you still do, the working out part of it?
Yeah. Up to now.
On a daily basis?
Maintain on a daily basis?
3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah, we just say 3 to 5 times a week. Then it's not something daily.
No, you have to give your muscles time for recovery. Because that whenever you work out that. So if it is intense, we do it 4 times. But if it is now like less intense, we can do it daily. But it depends on you.
Do you have your own do you have your basic training? Like
I have my own basic routine that I can do from Monday to Sunday.
Beautiful. That is what I wanted to ask, because anyone who claims,
no.
Anyone who
I know exactly. Like for example, like if it is Monday, it is a specific day that I'm doing specific thing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I work. Kuna
those intense days. Maybe kuna leg day, kuna arm day, but there's something basic.
But then there's also
for your general health.
There are also some specific body parts that you like to work out on. Yeah. So and then there's something that maybe concentrate on. There's something that maybe, for example, as a man naturally, you've been given a big chest. So maybe you don't like to work on your chest so much because that comes out naturally. But as a man, maybe you're being given small legs. Yeah. So there's something that there are some body parts, and then people are wired differently. There are people that genetically they just grow big. Then there's some people that maybe they have to work for a long time, for a long period. But also physical fitness does not mean that you have to be bulky, but then just staying fit, so that maybe you can go hiking, you can ride a bicycle, you can do a lot of stuff.
So maybe what can you tell a skinny guy like me who feels he's so fit without going to the gym?
Your body, you just find your body, because as a man also you should be very lean. You should be lean. A man should not be fat. Yeah.
So I'm cool without.
You're good.
I should not be there.
As long as your breathing is fine and you can take any kind of physical activity, you can go for a run. Yeah, you're good.
How did you transition? I think the guy needed that. He really needed that. How did you transition from just from leaving rugby to now, the whole economic thing that you did in Egerton?
Just look at the bigger picture. Yeah, what do you want more? Is it rugby? And is it sports, or just sports, and or a career in something that maybe you believe in?
And but I have a problem with this. You said you got a B, then you went again and you got an A minor.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Because there's no difference. To me, there's no difference between a B and an A minor. And I can tell you for a fact that someone can do medicine with the B, maybe at Tanzania, the lower, whatever, but as long as I can have the mindset and the tradition that anataka.
But I feel like it's more of the title thing.
So no, it's not about the title. It's about
what did you want with the A minor that the B couldn't give?
what I wanted with the A minor that the B couldn't give is that during our time, in terms of the course selection, A minor, in terms of now the points, and A minor was giving maybe a good course than the B. I don't know, maybe this time CG, but in terms of our time, the A minor was good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anything to do with social life? Because I feel like we've just...
No. There's nothing to brag about. There's nothing to brag about because always why do you? I don't see a.
There's always a mirror. There's always a mirror between good grades and social life. Good. Good sportsmanship and social life. Good performances, and there's always a mirror between there, because there's always these stories, and people will always tell you that the people who are very, performing very good at high school or in anything actually in life, they have better chances on getting the women in anything. Achana hata na education sasa. If you are doing something good and it's great in anything in life, you have better chances of getting anything you want in life. You are way better than someone who is not doing nothing.
That is a fallacy.
Bro, that's a fact.
That's a fallacy.
Expound.
What I'm saying that is that's a very bad notion that for you to that maybe if you are doing good in terms of school and with socially, you have a bigger chance of getting a good lady.
I'm talking about life in general.
No, not that.
So it's not like you must just it's not like you must be like extra.
No, if you're doing good in life, you will get good women. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying that you will get the women that you want. Yeah. Maybe they're not good, but
you want them.
You'll get what you
What
want. You'll have that.
I know. Maybe this show is PG-rated or X-rated because I could have used a very bad term. But having a good life or having a good income will only give your woman that good income will attract.
But not the quality of the quality.
Not the ideal woman that maybe you want to marry.
Bro, I feel like if you have money, you can arrange for the ideal woman.
I want to say something that maybe you'll cut it out or you'll have to beep it out. But having money will only get you I don't want to say
you don't know how to say it. You're trying to filter
I'm trying to filter that.
Filter vitu ili toke tu venye.
Let me say this, having money and everything will only get you a beach. Let me say that.
Let me say
it is unfortunate to say that, but I think that is the thing that maybe you'll have to cut out that director.
I don't believe
you'll have to cut out, but I think that. in terms of no. Money,
I feel you're right.
Yeah, money is not money.
I'm not saying money is the key to having the best woman or the ideal woman or whatever. I'm just saying, after God, money is the key to everything in this world.
No.
Key to
literally. That's a bad notion.
Everything.
Money is not the key to anything. Money just gives you something that maybe you missed growing up or maybe that you missed doing. But at some point kuna pali nafika. Kuna pesa na pesa haiwasaidii. Yeah, so usema ati money ni kila kitu. People have money, like be watered money. I've seen the people with cash. But kuna pali nafika pesa yako itakusaidia. Yeah. So kama ili attract msichana yenye maybe alikuwa anataka hiyo pesa. Ataka once pesa imeisha kwa sababu hakuna kitu aishi.
Money it attract madam. Sure bet. Hata siwezi kuwa against that. I agree with that 100%. But then itakupea hiyo choice ya you don't know if you're broke.
Na mbona utaki hiyo choice? Mbona utaki hiyo choice? Kama wewe
you choose upewi kwa broke. If you're broke you don't have even the choice. Hata choice umenyang'anywa.
Then wakadu.
But if you have the money at least you have the choice to make a wrong decision now. Because you have money. Imagine if you're broke, you don't even have the choice to make that wrong decision.
If you're leading your life based on making a wrong decision, then I think that is a bad life.
Me, I'd rather have a choice to make a wrong or good decision than not have a choice at all.
That is your life then.
It's okay.
So maybe
it's general. Do you prefer having a choice to make your own decisions?
Money only gives you freedom.
I feel like money gives the freedom
to decide on what you want to do. But that freedom stops from the moment that maybe you want to do something bad to people.
Yeah, true. I agree with that. In that point, that's why I was just basing it right to.
If you can use
the
your money
life that
wisely,
you want.
because there's some people that I think have been given money and they've used it wisely. That's someone like Mr. Beast is doing a good thing. Whatever is happening.
Yes.
So if you find
Ronaldo anamfikia sahi.
if you've been given money on or any kind of you have been placed in an authority or in a place of power.
Yeah.
Then you should use it to empower other people.
Yeah, true.
Remove them from one point to another. Yeah.
So maybe pale high school, rugby thing, ilikupea priorities gani socially ambaye without this rugby haungeona?
No, I was not doing it for social life.
But then it gave you that nini?
It only gave me
sense of belonging.
I belong to a team. We were working with a team, my teammates, and then we became brothers. But I didn't do it because of maybe that I wanted to be accepted in terms of socially. No.
You wanted to impress some people?
No. I just wanted to be me and be by myself and then do something that maybe nobody does the way I do it.
But in the process of doing that, you see, and these other things also just come naturally.
Like what?
Women start liking you naturally.
In high school.
Teachers start prioritizing you maybe.
I don't live my life based on me being liked by people.
But then they just like you without you.
I don't care whether they like me or not. Yeah. One thing I can tell for sure. Even right now I don't care whether you like me or not, or whether whatever I've done. If that thing is based on God and based on family, then I'm fine. But if it is, I don't want also to do things based on my own selfish interest. And I didn't start that time, and I won't start now. So even whatever I'm doing, I don't do it to be so that I can be accepted socially. I don't do that. So I just do it for my own good and for the benefit of mostly to give the most high and family.
That's a nice notion. That's nice. A nice thing to do. You may realize that. The more you grow, the more you
the more unatambua the most.
Lazima upate spirituality penye iko root kama kuna watu wa sagodi, kuna watu wenye the more they grow, the more they become now. Inaitwaje? These people that are
anti-Christ.
Atheist.
Atheists, yeah. Now the more they grow, the more they now even. So the more you grow, the more you mature in whatever you say.
What happens is that the challenges and the struggle that you go through, they are meant to prove you as a man.
Yeah.
And you have to be very mature that whatever you say and whatever comes out of your mouth is something that maybe develops people or put on curses. Yeah, so at some point in life, that when you go through life and you go through it, I don't know, maybe right now or maybe in the future, but you should develop yourself and show yourself as a man and be courageous and be bold and know that the perseverance, because
in a society yetu manze, hey utakuwa tagged na whatever this boldness.
No, when you read the book of Romans, they say that through our suffering we developed perseverance.
Yes.
And from the perseverance we developed character. And from character it gave us hope.
Very true.
Very true. Through the suffering, what do they develop? They develop perseverance.
Yeah.
And perseverance develop their own character. It is better to be a man of good character than being wealthy.
How often do you read your Bible? Because
daily.
Do you know?
Daily. Yeah, they have said, and it says when David was dying and he was telling Solomon that show yourself a man and try to walk in the path. Don't go right, don't go. Stick to that path. Same thing.
How comes you develop this Bible love and everything? The love for the Bible and the religious
that you have to read it.
No, that's that you have to meditate upon
the fact that
you should meditate upon that word daily.
Yeah.
You should meditate upon the book.
I love that.
Let that book not depart from your mouth. Meditate upon it day and night, so that you can do whatever has been given by the law.
But the translation, how do you know that this is now how I'm translating it right? I might just take it from from what you take it word by word. You know, the Bible is very, you know, the Bible is there, very pure, very, but now how we translate it is now where there's a lot of mix up.
No, it is a matter of but whatever I believe in, that you should read the Bible and try to understand it.
Okay.
Yeah, just try to understand. Just don't try and fix it. That whatever situation that maybe you are that now let me read this part and then leave this part.
This part favors me now.
It works for me in this situation.
No.
But how do you know? Maybe you're just quoting the Bible from your situation and you don't even know that you're using it against. You know, you don't. The things that you do that you don't know.
That's why you should never misquote the Bible. Yeah, you should never misquote the Bible. And then I think as a man, at some point you have to find your own spirituality in terms of whatever you believe, and you must believe in a higher power that is bigger than you. Yeah. So whatever you believe in, but you have to believe in something as a man, so that you know you in terms of creating your own foundation. If a man who stands for nothing falls for anything. Yeah, so if you don't believe, like I have my own, the way I work out and the way I move and the way, so those are my own principles. So that whenever that, now there's now for the people like maybe guys like you, maybe will meet at some point and you'll marry.
Yeah.
When God gave Eve, Adam Eve, Eve already was working, and Adam was already working. He was given the job of naming all the animals and
taking care of them.
Yeah. So he already knew God. So as a man, maybe he's coming up at some point when that lady comes in, then the lady should have that. Maybe you have a strong foundation in church or in God, and you're working on something, so that akikuja hapo kazi yake ni wewe ukuje umpatie kazi fulani. Si atakuja ndio sema jamaa nani tufanye hii. Sasa hapo sasa unapata kama family ina crumble. Because as a man who doesn't stand for anything, will fall for it. So
just might be standing for something and then the lady come and pay some good idea pia.
Yeye ni supporter tu, amekuja tu kusupport. Hajakuja kuambia ati wewe fanya hii, fanya hii. No. Hakuja tu kuambia wewe fanya hivi, wewe kuja kufanya hii kazi. Hii ndio kazi mimi nafanya. Kama utaona kama atakuwa line hiyo kazi sema tu mimi naye mimi nauza smoky. Sio hivyo. Hii ndio kazi yangu.
Yes.
Mimi nafanya niko na tuktuk kama hii ndio mimi ni driver hivi na hivi.
Yes.
Akuja hivi sasa atasema mimi nakuja hivi. How do I come in? Sasa unakuja kwa life kama hii kama supporter.
Okay.
You have to make sure that mimi kama ni trolley yangu imeoshwa, kama ni nini nimefanya hivi. Unaona?
That they help us man.
Kama ni manyanya zimekata, just basic things. Unaona? That's bwana wangu anafanya hivi na hivi.
Kama tuseme mimi ni mpiga picha ananibebea bag ya kwenda.
Yeah, ama anakuja hapa naosha hapa studio, everything iko set, video zilipanguzwa.
We know about career women here. They don't even have time for
that. They do.
Yeah.
That's also fine. I manage at lazima kila mse. That's just the way I view life. So maybe our wengine kuna view different, but that is theirs.
Me I don't want that type.
Would you prefer to marry a career woman or just a village?
No, right now I'm married, so I don't prefer anything.
Would you prefer before you got married? That's a good one. What is your ideal woman?
I'm married right now, so
sisi to nini?
Mimi hata story ya sisi achana naye.
Wewe jiongelee, so maybe
me and some other audience.
No,
hey champions man.
Sasa someone like me would like to maybe venture into that area.
But you have a lot of filters
in some days to come.
You have a lot of filters because if you know if you're not
the wife might be watching these things.
No. There's nothing wrong with that. But your ideal woman ikichenye hata uko married for like 30 years, you still have your ideal woman.
No, I don't.
So your ideal woman should be your wife.
No, my ideal woman is my wife, and the way ako hapo hivyo.
She's your ideal.
Yeah, hakuna kitu kingine.
Right then, if you have just said that, mbona ulikuwa unatupeleka hivi?
No. I'm not that is, but nikamwambia my ideal woman is my wife.
No, umesema
you're married.
You're married, so you don't have an ideal woman. I'm like,
no,
come on.
Nimesema my ideal woman is my wife. But anyway, that's all part of
what I wanted to you to put across we have a lot of young men right now who are stranded. We are going through a lot right now.
They're not stranded.
Yeah, but
they might be going through a lot, but that.
Unajaribu hii relationship I work, and you're like, God damn, should I marry or not?
Maybe you have not come of age to start having a dating, like having a relationship. mbona ukijaribu yeye wako you're just dating ama mna nini, but at some point I think you should find your own purpose first before parting.
What do you mean by finding my own purpose?
Find your ways with God.
Okay.
Then now find something that maybe can give you an income after going to TV.
Sasa bila income ni hakuna.
Mimi napenda sana.
Unaenda kutesa nini?
Mtoto wa mtu by the way. Hiyo naye ni sure bet bro. Hiyo naye ni sure.
Baba na mama kuna shamba.
Hiyo ni sure bet. So Robert, to me I love the way, you know, napenda the whole you know, the Bible thing and the religion thing. I love that part of you. That is some part of you that I've never experienced. I've never even known that you're this type of person who can even quote the Bible and everything. So, how did you develop that? Because you had to develop this type of culture where you read the Bible daily and whatever. Is it from your parents or your own making? I
think most of the things that I am right now, the way I am right now, mostly has been molded by my parents.
Damn, man, you had good parents.
Let me say that because I have to give credit to SDU. And also I've passed through some bad times.
Yeah.
I've passed through some times. I have some very deep scars. But most of the moldings, the first time I was going to do form for the KCC thing, my mother came with the Bible.
On prayer day.
On prayer day. I have the same Bible.
See, alikuja na shopping mse.
And you still have the shopping up to date.
Check, kila mtu aongelee experience yake, sawa? Kila mtu aongelee experience yake. Wewe kama ni biblos sawa.
But she came with the Bible.
Yeah.
And I'm that is the only gift I can give you. No, I'll be just some biscuits though. Some ilikuwa kwa nini?
Did you feel like crying though? Kila mtu ameletewa makuku manze.
Alikuwa shaka.
No, but I know.
Mtu aruji mse.
Yeah.
Utaliaje mtu aruji?
You have to toughen up in terms of life. But she came with the Bible.
That is nice.
Niko nayo hadi sahi. Nimeenda nayo hiyo Biblia imetoka Agorosare, ikaenda Orero Boys, ikatoka Orero Boys, ikaenda Nairobi, ikaenda Egerton, karudi ya Wendo. So imetembea.
Nice.
So what was
same Bible?
What was your response to your mom at that time when she was giving you your Bible?
There must be some.
Thank you.
Just like that.
Yeah, I think.
Smiling.
Bible ime foundation because imetembea sana hivi then it has laid foundation kwa maisha yako sana.
Yeah, there's some dark moments. The day that I lost my mom, the Bible was there. Yeah, and I had it. That is one memory that I have right now. You know, something like maybe in terms of the now hiyo nanipatia inasikia like iko poa. Hadi sasa bado iko.
It's a representation of your mom.
Yeah, niko na hadi sasa kwa duka iko kwa duka. Haiendi kwa nyumba iko tu. Pale niko ndo inakaa.
That is nice. That is nice. So, history yote ya Bible and everything just started from 4 ama
no.
From like
we have been raised through
religious
SB and everything, religious and everything.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to find yourself and find your path.
And hapo ndo nilikuwa nasema like how did you unajua kuna raising up. Hata mimi nimekuwa raised up in a very religious family.
Yeah.
But I backslided at some point.
I found after my bad injury in rugby in 2008.
And how intense was this injury?
Bad. I lost one of my eyes. Yeah. So moja inaona partially. Hadi sahi.
What do you mean partially?
Ukiandika ABCD from a distance, siwezi ona.
Nilikuwa nadhani unaona 2 ka 3 na 3 ka 4.
No, it's only 1 2 3 4 5. Hata from kama hii siwezi ona.
Hiyo ni macho moja.
Macho moja ya.
Macho nyingine itaiona.
Sasa nasikianga there's something yenye watu nini wanasema the medics from the moment yenye macho moja ioni all the forces all zinaenda kwa macho nyingine.
Yeah.
So iko very clear.
So inaenda tu hivyo naturally.
Yeah, ndio hiyo
so there's a dent, there's something that develops a lot of so the dent ilifanyika I walked around and I met with some doctors and they said that maybe it is something like a scar that never grows, but it just clouded the dark part of it. So I grow, imekaa tu hapo, Huwezi ona unless kuja na light karibu sana utaiona. But I can't see things like kama ziko far sana.
You're like literally a very much short sighted sasa.
Yeah, so mostly and sasa hiyo force yote imeenda kwa hiyo macho nyingine. So iko very very sharp.
Left or right?
Right ndio inaona clearly.
Right ndio ioni.
Okay. Sawa. Kwenda kuuliza swali bwana, achana nayo. Tutaendelea into this discussion and kuuliza swali by the about your eye, but I'm sorry about that. So that's the worst experience we gonna go rugby because it had to be.
Yeah, at maybe from 4 I'm a secondary level. That is the worst that maybe happened.
There's another worst.
Yeah.
Rugby is still rugby.
Just life now.
But rugby that has to be the worst experience.
Yeah, rugby that is the worst experience.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Uliumiza macho tu specifically.
Post.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, the bigger is post.
Sorry about that. And the best experience we got in rugby.
I made some good tries. Some good tries. But I mostly I didn't go far because of the injury, but I think I just stepped out and said, let me do something that I'm good at. Maybe was
injury for the end of that.
Yeah.
After the injury uliachana nayo.
Because from 4 walienda wakafanya siji tulikuwa na we hosted the rugby Nyanza games and sikuwa part of the team, so I just stopped from there. Yeah.
Sorry about that. So family life. Ulisema your ideal woman
is your wife.
Is your wife? Why? Kuna watu wengi sana the ideal woman, kuna wengi sana they just entered into marriage because she was pregnant. Ni kama umeona concept ya once you break it you buy it.
I think about family. Family we'll talk about in the next podcast. But for today, let's leave the family part.
All right.
It's okay. We always to go kitu ya kuuliza by the because there's this point that nilikuwa nataka expound kidogo. You going to campus kufanya economics, right?
Economics, yeah.
Uliambia that what drove you to just do economics? It was
after high school, I went to Nairobi. I was visiting my sister. And then there's a lady that I met. I won't mention the name because she's a director somewhere. And I was now that is back in 2010.
You met her as a director by then.
Yeah. I did then up to 2009 I got a salary, then 2010 in Orero. Then now 2011. 2011 already I was doing CPA. I started doing CPA. Then I met a lady and then she told me that now I wanted to do something to do with CPA and everything.
Oh, she was like your mentor now.
Yeah, instead of you doing like BCom, you can do economics. That will make you unique. Yeah, and I went with the idea and I just pursued economics from there. Yeah.
And have you ever
convinced you?
Did you regret the decision?
No, I don't. I don't regret anything that has happened in my life. I don't regret repeating Form 4. I don't regret anything. I have only that maybe scar, but I don't regret anything.
So maybe your life in campus, your experience up of share a bit of your experience in
campus.
Campus
was great. I was told by my dad to don't just pass through the campus, let the campus pass through you.
What do you mean by that?
You have to feel each and every aspect of the university. Be alive and be sensitive and be wild and
kwa education tukupate, kwa madem tukupate, kwa strike tukupate, kwa mistakes zote like in every aspect. So performance ukue kuwa kwa watu wa strike pia, kuwa kwa the politics part of the campus pia, kuwa kwa wale wasewa that is feeling.
Just to be
all round.
Just be all rounded. But they've said in the book of
oh my goodness!
That enjoy yourself.
My God.
No. Enjoy your youth.
Enjoy your youth, yeah. But just know that you'll be judged on this. Yeah, so. Usirukeruke sana.
Ule enjoy youth yako.
Kidogo.
Uta advise wase. Scratch kidogo. Ule enjoy youth yako na uta advise. Chams. Why enjoy. As long as you're making good choices,
Yeah. You have to be aware. You have to be aware and be aware of whatever is happening. And you have to be conscious of what each and every decision. Yeah.
Just let us just tuende mbele kidogo kwa Ikeja.
Na ile itaifanya.
Inafanya vile tumeamua inatoa white light. Historia chini. Historia Ikeja. And they all ulifanya before maliza university ama ile time ukosha maliza and you had your life because
ile time nilishamaliza.
Sorry.
Ile time nilishamaliza kitambo. But the idea came nikiwa university.
The Ikeja
it was about just an hostel listing platform where people can go and search for houses and they can book it online. And the payment process and everything. But Ikeja is an idea that maybe was not ready for the market at that time. Because I think the same problem with the Airbnbs. Like people only want to pay once they're in the house. In Kenya, nobody wants to pay online like I've booked this place. They only
watu pay online wakisha kwa mimi nakumbuka there's a specific Airbnb tunatumiaga tukiwa Kisumu when I go to record my music. Ama hapa Kisii. Watu the first day ilikuwa ni hard sana by this sisi kulipa because we've not gone there and blah.
Yeah,
squeezy we know like hata the caretaker na room yetu like this is where we always go. So I think ni kubuild your trust
but I think that's the thing. But then also
that was a good idea, man.
There's also kuna tu pale Mungu anakulead. Yenye maybe one thing I know maybe I was not meant to be employed. And one thing that could only take me out of employment was the Ikeja thing. Because I did it after employment.
Okay.
Because after campus I was doing it, but then there was no cash coming in. I had to look for jobs so that I can maybe maintain myself. So I was employed, but then I resigned.
Where were you employed?
After campus ulipata kazi wapi?
I was working in one of the local banks hapa Kenya.
Okay. And how did you transition from the local bank, the resignation, and now to your business now?
Another tough choice. Yeah, so it was not easy moving from being employed to now
self-employed.
Something happened, and I just decided that it was time for me to just join the business world because employment pia
was boring.
It was boring.
You okay? You always confuse me, man. Uli resign your boredom?
Yeah, it was not meant.
Nimeboeka leo so adios. Adios. Haiwezi acha nitataka kubambika. So boredom.
I always say that you have to make some big choices and you have to be a man of big balls. And the good thing is that you can make these things before you have a lot of baggage in your life. Like the baggage that I'm talking about is about the kids and people who follow you up. I've made some stupid, some big decisions, and the consequences have not been that dire. But they've been tough to live with, and they've been tough to explain to people. That you were asking the same question about me going to repeat.
Okay, hapo nimelewa by the because by the zile years yenu okay. I understand no jet time nimefanya form 4 na time nimefanya form 4
yako bili kwa bili. Yeah, so the same things in terms of employment.
Niambia na nimeelewa.
Kila mtu alikuwa anataka job, kila mtu anatafuta job. Mbona unaacha job yenyewe?
Na wewe unakimbia job.
And you had a banking job, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, the first the salary
ilikuwa fiti.
Ilikuwa fiti.
You uko upper class ama fiti ni uko chini ya so ama juu ya so?
Nilikuwa chini ya so.
But hapa chini ya so uko like upper class. Chini ya so but upper class like 60 to so. Juu ya 50, yeah. Juu ya 50.
You're talking about between 75 to 100.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That was a pretty good salary, but it wasn't enough to capture your boredom,
That was back in 2016. Yeah,
2016 na 75 to 100 G's, then,
So maybe, were you ready for, ulikosha severe hii biashara yako?
No, I didn't save.
You just
what is happening is that the calling was huge.
The calling to
come and save my business,
the family business.
Yeah, the family business.
Yeah.
The calling was huge. And just the right time, everything was right, the parameters were fine. The environment was good. Dad was of good age, and I said, okay, instead of me advising people about how to run their business, why can't I run my own business?
That is very true.
Yeah, instead of being paid to advise people, I can also go home and help my father.
So it was like you also this mentor used to mentor people on business ideas.
No, I don't mentor. I was not mentoring them, but I was advising them on how to run their businesses and avoid some. That is the work of a banker. The work of a banker is to guide you in terms of how to run your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to give you loans.
Unless you're talking about the cashier and everything, maybe they don't know what they're doing. But in terms of being a banker, you know, one job is just how to make money off people. And you make money off them by giving them business advices and everything. Guiding them just about not about their life.
No, but me, I feel like you made the right decision. Call it from employment to running the family business. That's you know, business ni kitu you can inherit. Business
No.
kitu it's for
Yeah,
business
and
like ikona hiyo inaitwaje? It's circular, like from you to your kids.
I just wanted something that maybe I can leave to people. Most likely my kids, and I can leave to
a legacy. Unaweza create legacy na biz. Huwezi create legacy na employment.
Yeah, you can do that. I just wanted something to leave for my kids, and I think, and not just that, but then I also wanted something more for myself, that I want to prove myself, because there's a sequence and there's a routine, something that you being employed, you come 8 to 5. 8 to 5 is boring. Not that I'm against the people who are employed, but 8 to 5 at some point is boring. And if you want something more for your own life and you want something more for yourself, you can do more. And it's good that you start early, so that you can make the mistakes early, so that you can learn early. Because the mistakes will be there. The business days, there are long days, there are tough days, and you are lonely, and watu wanakudai pesa mingi kila pahali. Yeah, so it is a tough thing. Sati ni kitu kila mtu kuja kufanya.
Inakuwa na ups and downs zake pia. The rainy days are really rainy.
There are some good days.
Job at least
very bad days.
You know, let me just stay here, Mazebi.
A job is safe, because our report comes. Yeah, when I report to only to your boss. Hapa hivi I'm bosses to many people. I'm bosses to the bankers.
Yeah.
They are my bosses. Suppliers are my bosses. Customers are my bosses. The employees are my bosses. The KRA are my bosses. The county people are my bosses. So I have a lot of bosses. So I would say they demand something from you. Job tu ni boss yako tu ni mmoja. As long as umefanya kazi yako right, boss yako ndio sawa. Hizo zingine tuangalia.
Biggest business mistake umedo. Again, if you can remember. Biggest tu umefuck up duko na nyewe hapa.
I can't say that those are the biggest, because bado sijui venye bado niko
as long as
you still
for now
have a whole life ahead.
For now.
Yeah.
Maybe ndio unaenda ku
ndio bado sijui.
Fuck up even more.
Bado sijui venye uko mbele iko.
But for now,
I don't count them as mistakes. I count them as experiences.
Yeah, I don't say that, man. Shit.
Yeah. They had to happen for me to learn something from them. So I don't say that they're mistakes. It's just part of the journey. And they had to happen. And it is not easy, the ups and downs. So I can't count them as mistakes. They're just experiences that have happened.
Now that you've overcome them, you can't name them.
I haven't overcome them, but I'm just in the process of overcoming them. The moment that maybe I've overcome them, then I'll be in the grave.
Yeah, because they
kazi haijaisha bado. Tunapiga kazi. Kuna watu wanapiga kazi. Nani Buffett ako 94. 90 something juzi ndio ameresign from amekuwa huko 60 years. So I can't say sema sasa zote zimeisha, no. Yeah, so hakuna kazi bado inaendelea, and bado sijui venye mbele iko, but just try for more and try to be honest with whatever we are doing in terms of business.
And maybe let me ask you, what was your turning point? Yani, one big decision that you ever made that you feel, wow, that was like my turning point, and it has brought you to where you are right now?
I've made some big calls. But I think the biggest call that I ever made, that maybe just to me transformed the way I think mentally, the way I reason out, the way I carry out myself, and the way I walk out, and the way I speak, is the injury in Form 3. That is one of the biggest injuries. It nearly wiped me out. That is one of the biggest things. So the way I carry out myself, the way I talk, that's the moment that maybe I also became very religious and believed in something bigger than me.
Yeah, I really wanted to ask. Why do we find God in the grave, man? Like, I'm not like meaning the literal grave, but kwa hiyo situation ya sasa unaona hiyo.
You only meet God when you're going down.
Hapo sasa, why can't we meet him? Why can't we meet him when you're going up? People have met him when going up.
Tell me one person has met God while going up.
Antonani Umse, the one who discovered Albert Nani?
Einstein.
Yeah, the guy time is sasa kuna discoveries nyingi manze haku discover God on his deathbed. Alisema vizuri that when he was not discovering things, that is why that is how he discovered that there is a bigger being.
No, let me. Kuna pale nafika. In life kuna pale nafika.
He didn't have to go through
kuna pale nafika yenye. You don't say that okay. Kuna pale Mungu anataka akulete place fulani.
Yes.
Yenye useme like kama si yeye singetoka hii place.
Yes.
That's that ataki anatumia God uses the vitu ziko chini ndio glory sikwe kwa hizo vitu, but glory ikwe kwake. If you see people from just maybe from the Bible and everything, wala sauti walikuwa chini, hakuna mtu alikuwa juu. David alikuwa tu shepherd. Unajua David alikuwa anointed akuwe king, bado ndo akarudi kuangalia sheep. Unaona? And Joseph, in terms of Jesus being born in the danger and everything,
yes.
Walichoose ile kwa ng'ombe huko and everything. Abana alikuwa tu chini. Joseph from the nini Daniel and everybody. So kuna tu
Solomon pia sikule alikuwa anamuongelesha ndio but hakuwa chini.
But Solomon aliambiwa tu as long as he will walk the path yenye Buddha alikuwa walk. Yeah, so kuna things happen. So hakuna tu wenye I think the moment that injury came I just say okay. Let me like because already ilikuwa baptized but sikuwa nasoma Biblia hivyo penye iko. Yeah, so I just the way I think, not just Mungu, the way I move, the way I reason out and the way I carry myself.
Your injury will change like
the whole perspective yangu yote just the being self-aware, just wanting more, knowing that I deserve more and I can do more. The injury change everything. Kama ilikuwa madem, I had to deal with them like kidogo usiende sana. Yeah.
Wachia Mungu pia.
No, said wachia Mungu.
Unachia
Mungu amekupa like but that choice of doing something ni yako tu. Sasa
yes.
hapo atupiti. Alafu si ati pia unakuwa si ati mimi niko nini. I just know a higher power that I believe in. Not that I'm religious, that I will say Catholic and SDA, no. I just believe in higher power.
You're an Adventist, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe let me ask you, because you are this person who reads the Bible sana. Kuna this David, we've talked about David in the Bible. He was this guy who used to make a lot of mistakes. There's this time aliwa huyu Nandy adishu bibi yake. And then God still reveres this guy so much, and alikuwa anamsema kama sijui the eye of my what.
Yeah, so
why do you think
it was after God's own hand? No, in terms of mistakes utafanya. Sasa utafanya mistakes. Unaona?
Tena big.
Because hakuna mse wamesema hata kwa Bible hakuna mse hajasin. Unaona?
Yeah.
But you will make your sins as white as snow. Sinigo. Yeah, so hakuna mtu hajasin, hakuna mtu hajasin, hakuna mtu ako perfect. But wamesema try and be as perfect as your God in heaven is perfect. Sinigo. Sasa unafika hapo. But tuna try to yeah, certainly out of make mistakes. No, usifanye ni kama you are older than thou. No, hapana. Yeah.
So what do you feel about that unikulize but what do you feel about unaona siku hizi people saying even in church openly? Do you feel like they're also trying to be like David and
no, but you're mind to judge. Other mistake judge mse. Because I stuck off fair to judge them. Msanafanya jumseni Mungu. Sasa hiyo ni kati yao na Mungu. Mimi sitaki kuangaje hiyo. Yeah, I don't want to say like because I'm saying that no. That is hiyo
ni kati yake na Mungu.
Sipaki kujaje anything.
You never answered the question I asked you about mistakes. I know you told them you called them experiences. But the worst experience, because your mistake business wise also that is experience now. So the worst experience umekuwa nayo in business. because that will lead me to asking you some other question.
So I think maybe they just think that maybe happen. Maybe one thing I think as we were coming up, the youth, and just having that financial discipline.
That is the worst experience.
You see, in terms of the worst experience or the worst mistake?
The worst experience, because no, it was the worst mistakes. But you know, your mistakes are now experiences. So I'm trying to just.
I can't pinpoint it exactly like I don't think.
But
as long as
plenty.
yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of and I've learned a lot. So I can't pinpoint one specifically. Something like a mess. The mess being man about the mess. Because I'm always trying out. The beauty of business that you're always trying something. The beauty about life, not even in business, about life, that hakuna mtu anajua chenye anafanya. Hapo hivi kila mtu anaamka asubuhi.
What do you mean hakuna mtu anajua pia anafanya bro?
No, kama unajua kitu unafanya living. Kesho amka fanya hivi. Mimi naenda kuuza hapa. Naenda kuuzia watu 10. Kuuzia watu 10. Hautapata watu 10.
Yeah, okay.
Hapa ni
hapo ni fate.
Hapo ni fate. Hapa hivi tunajaribu tu. Ikienda sawa poa, but hakuna mse sasa jamii, I know my life itakuwa perfect. Naenda kufanya hii exam, naenda kupita. Hakuna mtu anajua anafanya. Hapa kila mtu anajaribu, ikienda sawa then sawa. Then kama jana sawa pia sawa. Kesho tutajaribu tena. But hakuna mtu anajua anafanya. Hapa kama mtu anafanya biz, anafungua biz. Hakuna mtu anajua hii biz itafanya ama itafanya.
True.
Whatever itafanya. Si nini?
That is true. And you know, we were talking earlier, and you are a big Elon Musk fan. Big one. Nimeongea na mafans wengi wa Elon man, lakini wewe ni kama Elon akitani hivi, you are the other side of the coin. So here's the thing. Hii discussion nime have na businessman mwenye tulikuwa naye the other day. He came hapa kwa pod. But I wanted to ask you the same thing that Elon anafanya. I know you are his fan, najua. That point hata, you know, najua. But now I want you to reason as Robert. Not being a fan of Elon or something. Technology. Is it good or bad? That is option A. Ama, is it good? Option B. Ama, is it bad? Option D is it good and bad?
Technology is good on the same when used wisely, and it is bad.
So go
when used unwisely.
So go good or bad?
It depends on the
good
user.
And bad.
It depends on the user. Yeah. Like let's say for example, technology is bad for the kids, but it also opens up a framework for them to learn very many things, like the machine learning skills, the AI and everything. So it depends mostly on the user. So it depends on the
bad
user.
For the kids.
I've said it's bad for the kids, but also good for the kids, because in terms of learning, it is very good for the kids. But in terms of whatever now they're being exposed to pornography, bad content, it's a very bad thing.
I've seen kids when you squeeze they take a longer time in pronouncing stuff.
Yeah.
They take a longer time, even like, you know, sisi ni wale watu tulikuwa tunapewa uji na tunaikuwa kwa juu hapo buda, na una develop skills zingine noma because kuna watu wako wengine, kuna watu wenye wana group here around you, you know, around plot yenu ama kwa plot yenu that you come to associate with and everything. But squeezy unapata that people have growth na people kuna big time trauma. People are very kuna vitu zingine zenye tumedevelop, kuna watu wamedevelop vitu zenye I think without being exposed to that in technology na wakiwa wadogo hawangekuwa watu kama hao. You know. But then unapata that hii kitu yenye pia imewaangusha sana, imewasaidia, because now they know a lot of things. They know a lot of things now, like the technology works and how to do this and this on the internet and whatever, because they were exposed very young into that.
Yeah.
So yes, najua they know. They expose this out, you know, if you know things, internet and everything.
No, they can call
exposure. But sasa, how about easy skills zote zenye wali miss because of this exposure? Because mimi na feel ni kama easy basic skills zenye mtu akonayo, they are far more important than even the exposure. Eri tuwe fala lakini uwe na skills za life.
That is fine, but sasa unajua kuna wase pia inakuwa poa, like kama uko the part mtu akona mix ya books but na street smart ako poa sana.
Yes.
Unaona?
Basi utakuwaje kuna street smart na technology yenyewe
na
inataka.
Kuna zingine watu na miss, that's why nakwambia. Kuna zingine that you just have to explore yourself and embracing that mixture of now embracing technology and using it wisely. I think upon itaokolea sana, because if it is used wisely in terms of kuna vitu mingi, whatever tech can do, it's so wide.
Ndio nimekuulizia hiyo story na nikairelate na Elon, because Elon aliulizwa hiyo story na Rogan in his interview, na alisema it's good, atachukua good all the way. So that is the only difference I wanted to I just wanted you to have kitu fulani tunaweza kutoka kwa ile kidogo. Penye Elon anasema ni right na wewe unasema ni left, and it's okay.
I'm looking at it like from Vichekesho amesema iko poa, lakini but mostly the user, because I think imeharibu vitu mingi in terms of sisi third world imetuokolea, na pia kuna vingine imeharibu.
No, kama culture yetu fuck up culture yetu vibaya sana.
We are using it badly. We are not using it the right way, because we are not atuja invent anything. We don't know how to. See, mostly just consume whatever we have been given.
Yes.
Yeah, we spend.
To invent M-Pesa, bro. Don't forget that. M-Pesa ilitoka Gatona?
No.
Huh? M-Pesa imetoka Kenya hapo, one of these universities. Your concept yake ndio ikakuja all over the world. Yeah, I heard this fact.
It's true.
Banks ndo zilikuwa major, like you could just send money from bank to bank.
You can send money from bank to bank, but now M-Pesa just from phone to phone.
Yes.
And that's why wame patent. There's some things that you wamefanya that you cannot do. But technology iko poa. But user yetu sisi Africa. You have to be very better.
You're marginalizing us, bro. Bana technology ni mbaya US, ni mbaya huku. Ni nzuri US na ni nzuri huku. Inadepend venye umesema, inadepend on the user.
Yeah.
So I feel like kama tunaongelea about technology, it's a very black and white topic.
Yeah.
Because we can always talk about the good parts, na tumeona vitu nzuri zimefanya kwa society yetu. Tuzikata. Na pia because technology inasaidia kutupea hiyo TV yenye ilikuwa na our governor alika hiyo TV, the last governor alika TV yenye tunaweza ona news. Say technology inatumiwa ku steal election. So the same technology now in a work. It's on work tukiangalia hizo TV na tuone what's next, because politics is so important.
Apia anything that is advantageous must always have
a two-sided sword.
It must always have the other side, which is the disadvantages. So technology is in as much as it's helping us, it's also killing us, because it's the same bunduki. I mean, it's the same bullet that protects you, and it's the same bullet that kills you.
You're in choice.
So it's a two-sided stuff.
Monster.
But I think to kuna hiyo choice ya control. You know, you can have a two-sided sword, but you always have the choice to control where you will hold it on. Now, ni kama technology iko poa. Yes, na iko mbaya pia, because you can always say what imefanya vitu vibaya na vitu vizuri, but people have a choice to either, people have a choice to always use it badly, wrongly.
Si unakumbuka kama ile tear gas ambayo yule jamaa alikuwa arushe, ikamlipukia kwa mkono. So ilikuwa itoke kwake ikiwa safe, but then at the same time nini naye haikutambua yeye ni nani.
Nataka niongele politics tukimalizia mzee, because politics tuko na
politics.
So that's technology.
I'm not going to ask you something like so controversial about politics. Niko nataka kuongele, okay, politics is what runs the world.
I know.
And kila siku tu lazima, as long as tuko na vitu zetu tunafanya, na as long as pia hao tukiwa wanakuwa more dramatic na inakuwa scripted most of the time, but lazima tuangalie, because Ruto anaweza decide leo ni curfew, na kama tujui inaweza kuwa so na feel there's a big role in a play in the society. What I wanted to ask you, Roberto, is your take on Kenyan politics, the difference between Kenyan politics huku and the international politics, because CNN na NTV ama Citizen there's something that ukiona basic difference zako ni gani?
I don't watch news.
You don't watch news totally?
I don't.
How do you get information, like vitu kama hizo, vitu crucial kama hizo? Ulijuaje corona iko? Uliona internet ama ulijuaje kafu sasa?
One thing about news iko mbele kushtua. Mtu aliua bibi yake na sijui watoto gani, sijui mtu alifanya. So news ni vitu tu, just paint the negative part of the society. Mtu alichoma sijui kama wana sijui watu sijui watu
what you see,
sijui watu sijui family watu paracet gani sijui gari la tan.
As you see, mtu akikuja akwambia depends ameoa. Sasa hiyo ni news kweli, but you see
no, I'm in terms of me comparing whatever is happening in Kenya and whatever is happening in Marioo. And I'm comparing, I don't watch news.
Sasa information yako ni news.
Ndio najaribu kuambia sana. Lakini
na wewe gossip club sasa hivi.
Lakini sasa ukiambiwa Adibenza ameuawa, utashtuka sema that's news now. Ndio maana nakwambia
kukufa news.
Unacheki whatever right now is happening in Kenya.
Kama news lazima tuwe negative.
Whatever,
because it's what is selling.
Thing. So unapata like they just promote the negativity.
But they want
it's
the conflict.
They want to sell to people who are watching.
So you don't watch news. And how did you know that curfew ni saa moja? Yeah. No. You don't watch news, bro.
In terms of the government can put out a bulletin, but they don't have to put out the bulletin through news. They can put out the bulletin through social media and everything. That is fine from the ministry.
But it's still news.
That's not news. That's a bulletin.
How did you know that Trump is in Saudi?
You have to be aware of the world events that are happening. Those are just not that somebody Trump going to Saudi. Mostly haitachukua nafasi kwa news. Itachukua a very small bit of it.
So
haitachukua kubwa. Sasa you can just watch it like me being an economist and me being an accountant. I have to be aware of my surroundings. Like what makes the business world move.
And you find that where?
What do you find fascinating about
social media? I have my own apps. Yeah.
What do you find fascinating? You know, it's not news, obviously. What fascinates you?
What makes me like take and everything?
Yeah. There has to be something.
I love things that make my mind think. That make me.
You're a mathematician.
Make me reason out and then say, okay, that's something that I like to learn new things. Like I read a lot, consume a lot of knowledge.
So you still have like a bombarded pages of.
I have a library.
What book would you advise to some now that you know? Achana Bible because
that is the best book ever made. That is the Bible there.
I will. I love that culture, bro. Ni vile sana nashangaa kanaweza maintain.
Book gani?
The other book you are talking about.
It depends on now what you are into. Like maybe you can be into dating and everything. There are books on that. You can be stoic. Like for me, there's something that I'm developing right now called stoicism. Like being stoic.
What is being stoic?
Being stoic is being a man of good character. There are facets of stoicism.
Give us some books that.
No, stoicism is a part of philosophy that develops your manhood, that you man up. And when you're manning up, there's some, in terms of features that you should be having in terms of as a man. Like you have to be very humble, soft-spoken, person of good character, kind. Yeah,
so if you are not
soft-spoken, nakoga na shida naye because you know me, I talk a lot, so naweza kuwa soft-spoken na naongea nyingi. I've tried, nimejaribu by the way, nimejaribu kukuwa na kutulia hivi.
Yole, umesikia ile.
I'm not just that.
Umesikia ile. Anasema kwa Kiswahili ati empty the best
the loudest
noise. Books will make you silent.
You know, naongea mingi but I'm the most silent hapo kwa.
But kama unaongea mingi na ondoa content then that is fine. But kama utoi content, mbona unaongea?
I feel like kama naongea nyingi because
unasemanga content kama ni udaku tu.
Si udaku. A lot of content.
For sure.
Hey. No, Mazat, okay.
No, acha nikwambie ile. If kama unataka kuongea kindly. You know the bad thing about people ni mostly msata kuja kuambia riba ya mse. Ama some bad thing about another person.
Riba ndio
story.
Okay.
Akwambia tu story ya mtu ama something that hata ikuhusu, hata uko part of that, hata sijui just vitu zingine. Because I think let me kuna point utakuwa so lonely that hakuna msanda kusikia, hakuna story yenye mimi utaka kuniambia story ya msee. Mimi niko na shida zangu zenye ziko mingi. Kuna ile ngoma nani anasema sijui ni DNA ama nani. Niko na shida zangu nisikiza kwa nini. Unasikia? Kwa sababu people go through a lot and living utakuwa there's some point utafika life utakuwa so lonely. Unataka tu kukaa na watu, kukaa tu uongee and you don't talk politics. Mtu akwambie tu like exactly their goals and dreams.
Yeah.
Unasikia?
Yeah, kuna point.
Yeah, kuna point nakuja and that point is and so you have to now develop another skill. That's why you read so much. Nimekwambia I have a library.
I watch so much.
Yeah, so I watch V2, just want to be alone and figure out exactly where your life is headed.
So reading books makes you figure out where your life is headed.
It just gives you a sense of foundation and a sense of now, and just a sense of belonging that you discover a lot of things that maybe hauko unajua kitambo.
You can discover a lot of things in the internet.
No, it depends on which part of the internet.
Yeah, kuna some if you go.
What do you subscribe for? Like, for example, what kind of emails do you get? What kind of pop-ups do you have on your phone? Come on, you must subscribe to music and everything that whatever you follow.
Yeah.
Now, whatever you consume is not whatever you just eat. It depends on what you see, what do you interact with.
Yeah.
So, what you consume each and every day becomes part of you, and it now creates your own mental capabilities and your scope of work, so that you don't think about the kind of friends that you have. They just determine the way you live your own lifestyle and how you walk around. Sort of part of like most of the time, once you have chosen a specific path of life, a life of being honest with yourself, that okay, I'm living this like from the moment that I wake up. There's something that my father used to tell me that you have said that, Robert, you have done your best. That baba hapo nimefanya yangu yote. And what is your best? Is it from the moment that you woke up, like from the moment that you wake up and you go to sleep? From each and every hour, what exactly are you doing to make it the best? Because, for example, if you look at the Premier League, like let's say football, they wake up they train from morning to evening, just for one specific game. That is the weekend game. Honestly. Yeah. So from whatever they eat, how they train, how they analyze the other team, how they do it each and every day from Monday to Friday.
There's a book that really concurs with that point of yours. There's this book that we were reading.
The Atomic
Habits.
Yeah,
a very good one, by the way. Small things too.
Yeah,
small things you pile it
so
up.
Yeah, they pile it up and then they become huge. So kuna vitu vingi, so una develop to your mind venye iko hivyo. Kuna vitu zenye unafanya. So
me, I feel like I don't have to have a bunch of books like kama wewe you've said kuna books and hata Atomic Habits. I went for a specific thing that that I had iko hapo. I had to just go to the overview ya kitabu, nione what is there, concur with it and just leave na nimekuwa na hiyo shit from
yeah, so
I have to be like soaked in the whole thing from Atomic 1 to page 1 to the last. Nachukua tena Robert ananiambia gani ni hii sawa.
Because I can pass them to my kids.
Oh, so like you have the physical books.
I have the physical books.
Bro,
me online.
Like me story.
I have the physical books. I have the physical books.
The kind of job you do, yeah. Maybe the kind of job I do doesn't allow me to have physical books, honestly.
Yeah, so it depends on the life that and then say that maybe you don't want to read the books or you don't want any book. Upiga order Jumia ni 500 or 570. Kama
hiyo Atomic Habit you order how much?
Unless niangalie list yangu ya Jumia, but just buying books, I just buy books. Kama hizi niko na Jumia almost 5 books sijachukua. I should pick them up, but I just buy them so that
just a fun so reading, ndio.
Ukienda kwa nyumba hakuna haja uende watch news na kusoma book hata one chapter, sio? Then unapata kama you just develop some sense of that daily reading.
The culture.
And that culture. So unapata tu kama asubuhi maybe ukiamka by, because what time do you wake up?
5 or 6.
I wake up at 5. First of all, 5 is a moment of your own meditation. You have to meet the day before the day meets you. So once you meet the day, when you meet the day, you start by reading. Sinivyo? How that moment with you, with yourself, hakuna kelele, hakuna sijui benza na kupigia simu, hakuna, just doing between wewe na mwili yako.
Una wake up na unasoma?
Yeah. Meditate.
You wake up, meditate, read.
I can, so in terms of book is like, that time that I'm reading, that is also the time that I'm meditating.
Oh, so you are doing them at a go.
Not that meditating does not mean that you doing yoga and you being still and everything.
Kusoma nilikuwa nasoma asubuhi niko high school ama for an exam or something.
You can so in terms of whatever makes you happy, you can wake up and go to the gym, you can wake up and go for a run, you can wake up and read a book.
Then you're meditating at the same time.
Yeah, there's something else maybe you believe in, having a cold shower.
Yeah, and just if habituals.
Yeah, so
habituals.
Just work on, in terms of you are human anatomy. You work on your brain, that is reading. You work on now the physical side, that is now maybe going to the gym and everything.
Yeah.
Then you take a cold bath, and then you arrange your bed, then you walk out.
So does it mean bathing in hot?
It's a very bad thing for any human being. It doesn't do anything to your body.
Because I've been
cold showers are the best.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything to your body. What do you mean?
The cold shower awakens everything. Unapata kama watu wa football wametoka hivi, then they do the ice bath.
Yeah.
For recovery purposes.
Mtu umetoka kusweat alafu unarudi high ice.
Yeah, kwa ice.
I thought that
no, even if you have an injury, the first wanakwambia to ice bath and everything. It just it strengthens your bones and everything. So the cold showers are very good.
Yeah. Na hapo kwa cold shower ni true. Wewe umezoea kuoga na maji moto, babu, change. Nimekwambia kitu before. Roberto has even told you and confirm na some facts. Sasa kama unisikiza.
Ulikuwa na waita champions wenye tunaoga maji moto.
Champions. But bro, mimi napenda hiyo, napenda organization yako, napenda the way umeorganize your own thing. Kama it's something habitual, if you're telling us the truth that it's something that you do on a daily basis, then it results in a big time.
It gives me a structure. You won't find me like kama kuna hautanipata kama nimekaa pale nafanya kitu kingine, kama iko part of your deal, kama iko part of chenye nafanya fine.
Yes.
Then you won't find me do it. Hautapata kama kila mtu anaenda event plan, then Robert, yani we know that Robert will be there. No, I won't be there.
No, but if you are meant to be there, you
kama for example, kama unasema like Robert, kuna vitu vingine vya like ili kumwona, yani kila pale wanakupata. Uende nini wanakupata, uende nini. You must be a man of principle and of structure. Unaona? That I know myself that if ukinipigia simu like Robert, utakuja place kama hiyo, utakuwa place kama hii, sitakuja. I won't be there. And saying no, it gives you like that strength of knowing that okay, I was to be there but siko hapa. Ufai kuwa like kila pale ukienda hapo wanakupata, ukienda hapo wanakupata, no.
But I think like you said, na hata mimi.
Alafu unafaa kuwa mseveni yenye wase wamesi kukuona. Sasa lazima tu uko available for everybody each and every time. Atikiwa tu tulikuwa na hii gari nyingine, hii trip alienda huku, jamaa alikuwa isa nyingine, sijui jamaa anaendesha hii nini hapa.
Be there.
Kwa hata mseveni mchana zanapata, jamaa tumemiss, hatujamwona for very long time. Hajai kuja na sisi place tumeenda hizi leo. Sasa hii trip ulimiss, ati amesi kwa hapo. Hii game ulikuwa.
I feel as long as uko na purpose kwa maisha yako, I'm telling you kuna lazima wewe tu scarce.
You have to be very scarce. You have to be very scarce. Sasa say uko available to each and every person. Yeah.
And it's not like intentional. It's something that as long as
you go to evil, like me, you won't take me out. I told them that maybe you won't get me to do the podcast on specific days. I gave you my own routine, but then he said, okay, now you have to now be flexible and fix me somewhere.
Yeah.
And I can be okay, we'll do it, but up to a certain point of time.
Yes.
Yeah. So come on, it was supposed to.
Mimi I appreciate the fact that unajua like however me appreciate na mimi upenda sana some people who are principled and when unajua I do my things this way.
Hata kwa tu principle uko structured. A man should have a structure, and whatever is happening, like whenever we are raising boys and we are raising kids, they should have a structure. That ukiamka asubuhi, you brush your teeth, you do this, you make your bed, then you go to school. Kurudi hivi, you do your homework. You live like
to make my bed niliacha kitambo.
Yeah, so you should work on it. Hata kama uliacha. Kama sasa bado mimi na spread my bed. Najua vizuri, nachukua kiatu yangu nilichukua nikaweka wapi, leo yangu ziko wapi. Yaani uko na structure.
Na upige rangi viatu.
Saturday maybe you do one or two. Yaani ufanye ukuwe na structure limit. Ni ukifanya hivi unafanya hivi. Ukitoka job unaenda kwa nyumba, kutoka kwa nyumba unakula, kutoka kukula ni kulala. Hakuna utapata kama
okay, I think I have a structure.
Hakuna mistake mingi nitakushika.
Tajiki vimza wengi. Buda. Niko na structure ni vile si ya Roberto, si kama yake.
Si kama yangu.
You know,
whatever works best for him.
Whatever floats his boat.
Niko na structure.
So
Mimi I'm not a huge believer of this intense.
No, certainly niko intense ama niko nini.
Those are basic stuff. Ku spread to kitanda.
Check it.
Iron nini.
Anything basic to you is not to me. Hapo nakataka kabisa.
Do you concur?
Anything that is basic to you might be very intense to someone.
The way it is life team siko hapo.
No.
Hiyo ni yake tu. Kama whatever works for him, that is fine.
Yeah. Anything that is intense for you. Rugby is very intense for me, man. But for Roberto, I needed to go and just be there and just anaiongelea ni kama ilikuwa hii game tunacheza ilikuwa inaitwaje ya mkono. What is this? Hii ya kulikuwa na the round inaitwaje?
Gani ya juama.
The one this round thing. Do you know how people see that game na kama it's very easy, but it's very complicated kwa watu wenye wanakuna this mkono. There's this type of people wanakuna this light fingers and kuna wenye kuna heavy. It's very complicated to people. Same game, but kuna mtu atalenga vizuri na kuna mtu atalenga vizuri. Na atakushinda maths. Bado. So complications of life pia mimi feel kama hivi wana kuna.
So you feel like spreading your bed and washing
is a big issue.
Just feel like I'm not going to come out, Ita niko Jaba, but anyway, thank you for coming through. Umepiga some piece of advice. It's been a real one. But I feel like tutaongelea the next time, you have to promise that the next time you come in, we'll go deep into the family issues and into this discovery issues, because hatujaongelea anything do alone, because I'm so interested in that guy, but sijai kwa fan wake kama wewe.
Sawa.
Mimi unaona ni kama mimi ni fan wake hapa ndani, but now that you came through, sasa ukaanza kuwa kama inaitwaje, these people blindly follow Raila wanaitwa
nini.
I don't think I'm follow you, but anyway.
Kuna hiyo
tutaongea next time.
Unakuwa nani wa mtu? There's a term that describe like anything mtu anafanya una agree on unaona nyewe umse.
No. We just tend to share some very basic things, but anyway.
But that is nice.
Next time.
But that is nice. So hey, thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Any last advice on Zambia? I say in business, kwanza alafu in life. Anything that you can tell someone who's been watching here and who's been with us tangu yote nyote. Something
in business, one thing, have financial discipline. This is very key for you to go far. Jua pesa ya biashara si pesa yako. Si pesa yako. Pesa yako ni pesa unafaa ulipe at the end of the month. Sawa.
Lakini si unalipwa na biashara ile.
In ideal sense, the self-employment and whatever money that you should be getting from the business is what the money the business should be paying you in terms of wages.
Yes.
So, that's why you compare pesa ya biashara si pesa yako. You should be drawing a salary so that you survive on that salary.
Kumaanisha you should be saving this money up.
You don't save.
Hapo umegonga ndipo buda. You need self-explanatory.
Unajua vitu inafanya sisi hivyo, leo ninasema usiguze pesa ya bili.
Niliambiwa that I'm telling you a concept. Your concept to work big time.
Yeah, so you have to find hiyo, and therefore in terms of life, you have to be very, very authentic, be real and be honest with yourself. And face your struggles when ziko au special, wewe si mtu wa mwisho. Aziko unique to wewe peke yako, ziko kwa kila mse. So
and you'd agree with me when I say that we are this way, we are the way we are because of how we are raised up.
And we are the way we are because of whatever you have gone through. So yeah.
Or whatever we've gone through.
Yeah, not that whatever we've been through, but whatever we have gone through. Yeah, that some people have gone through things, not that they were raised up that way, but they went through them. Yeah.
I concur with that. Yo, give us some Jaba or some inspiration before we
So I wanted you to go deep on social life, but I hope we go deeper on that.
We'll time for it next time, yeah.
Yeah, so today what I really have to tell my guys today is just to have fun in whatever you're doing and embrace God in it, or just be spiritual and have fun and have fun. That's all I have today for Jaba, and
Alright.
see you in a bit.
See you in a bit, manze. It's been nice having you guys. Go just subscribe, go just comment up here. Tell us what you should know. Tell us people we should interview so that we can have the people that you want in our pod. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. Let me say, God bless you. I mean, changanya sana na story ya Mungu. Thank you so much for time for us, manze.
Thank you for.
It's been amazing. So umesema unakuja next when?
Taongea kwa simu.
Yeye nikaa kuniambia. Yeye nikaa nikwambia bro, I'm very undecided about this shit. Dunia na pia